Hey guys, this is Kirov speaking, and in today's little dev update we have just two topics, and that would be the public release as well as the future, and that would be the next subproject. Alright, let's get right into it. We just released the very latest update of automation to both Steam and the standalone version, including all the new little goodies such as engineering time, tooling costs, some new track calculations, V12s, and plenty of balance changes, something around 50 of them. 50 major ones, not counting the small changes. So that's pretty exciting. Hope you're enjoying that. If you haven't tried it yet, go out there and see for yourself. And also, if you're wondering what this button does, this is a factory size selector, and you only have it in detailed stats, where you can see how many cars your factory would produce in a single day. In the upcoming subproject we have 4 points we will focus on, and that would be the engineering fundamentals, the factory basics, some space frame chassis going to be added to the mix, and V12 turbos. So there's a little bit for everyone in there, and the main focus is on the two aspects of the Tycoon part, the engineering fundamentals and factory basics. So let's dissect a bit what is going to be added there. We will introduce a new section to the design flow, which will be after the final testing tab of the car, where you set up your engineering team made out of engineers, and they all have different stats. For instance, you could have an engineer which is really specialized in dual overhead cam engines or inline sixes or something like that, while you could have a chassis engineer which is really good at monocoque chassis, and those will allow you to add quality slider without having too much penalty to the engineering time. And this is an interesting mechanic, we think, especially considering that it will be non-static, dynamic later on. Depending on what you send your engineers to work on, they will improve in various sections, and you can assemble your team of engineers, having a team lead and several sub-engineers as well as junior engineers, which can be put in these places to not only assist but also learn for future projects where they themselves take the important positions. There will be, I think, 2 to 3 engineers for engines, and more like 3 to 4 engineers for the chassis or the actual car. So they are different, as well as we have another category there, which is the team manager. So the interesting thing there is, not only will your engineers have some kind of RPG mechanics brought to the game, and they would be randomized at the start of the game, although not in the next update, obviously. So we are making the cut there for the next subproject. They will be in, they will have an effect, and that is basically what there is. There won't be any randomization yet or any progression over the years. So yes, this is for trying out some of the important fundamentals of the RPG mechanics in automation, assembling a crew and building your dream team. Alright, so factory basics. That section will be cut a bit short, and that's why I called it basics. We are going to have a proper factory screen, but this will be very bare bones in the coming update. You will see a representation of your factory size on there, and have various settings to make for how your automation is set up, not the game, but rather the process. And then you can optimize for having more staff or having more machinery, and that of course will affect costs and setup time for the factory you want to build. Also, there are of course different sizes for these factories, and that should all be good for a basis there, and maybe we also will make them dependent, like costs dependent on which region you are in. that connection will also be very bare bones if we get it in though. Alright, then let's quickly talk about the other two, which are much simpler because that is known territory. Currently it's really difficult to make any kind of performance cars before monocoque chassis come along, and that is because back in the day they were basically using, whenever they wanted to make something sporty, a space frame chassis, and that will be added to the game. We will make it such that that is available from the start and will be pretty labor intensive, but the engineering time will be reasonably short, and you can basically make handmade stuff, like put a few welders into a shack and you're good, right? Tiny factory stuff. Then V12 turbos, you've been asking for them, of course, and that will be the last thing regarding engines we are going to add before we delve into Unreal and our hybrid version of the game. That, on a side note, is going really well, and we are currently looking for a Unreal UI guy so that we can have a bit more fancy UI stuff going on there. And so far so good. The port is going well, so hopefully we will be running a hybrid Frankenstein monster of an engine pretty soon. Probably not with the release of the next subproject, but the one thereafter. Alright, then of course, after about 10 weeks, out of these 10 weeks we will be away for 2 weeks over the holidays. Anyway, so then of course, after that is done, we again go into an open beta. Bug fixes and polishing, and that of course again is only on Steam. But then final release after hopefully around 10 weeks. That would be early February around-ish. Alright, so that's it. Hope you enjoyed, and see you guys next time.